Hi guys, I hope everybody's okay. I'm going to give people a few minutes to pop in and say hi. Glad I could be with you this week. I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but I am back from Florida for a little bit of time. So this week's a go. Next week should be a go as well. I don't think I'll be leaving again until later in the week. So I think we can have one. So today we're going to talk about name drops and what you might do with name drops. I've also seen a lot of questions out there about appliques and using them with your scan and cut. So I will see if I can't touch on that a little bit as well. Because there seems to be some confusion about what you can do, when you can do it, and how you can do it. So I will see if I can't clarify that again. So let's get started. Good to see you all. Glad you could join me. It's a good Tuesday. Yay. All right, so I'm going to switch over to my screen here, if I can find where that little icon is. There we go. All right, hi, Betty from Tennessee. Good to see you here. We're going to talk about name drops today. And what name drops does is it allows you to actually create a design one time and customize it for all of your family and friends. So it's very useful when you are doing things like stuff for what am I trying to say? Family reunions, trips, all kinds of stuff. So anytime you're wanting to do multiples of the same design and just switch out the name is when you would use name drops. So hi, Tammy. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Pat. Hi, Karen. Great to see you all here. I'm going to use some built-in stuff in the BES4 software. So I went to Add Designs, and I'm in my Accent folder. So I'm going to switch. Let's see if we can't find something a little different. In your designs folder, you should see a folder called designs. So designs within designs. I know it's kind of crazy, but these are some really nice ones that you guys might enjoy using. And sometimes it's hard to see what they are, but we did add a little trick at the last update that when you hover over something, you get to see a bigger thumbnail image of it. So you can kind of tell, you actually can really tell exactly what it is. So let's say we are going to design this design for a team. I'm going to zoom out. This is basketball sportswear. So I'm going to rotate this design. Let's go to our Arrange tab. And let's select the design. And let's rotate that bad boy to the left, 90 degrees. There we go. So we have basketball and then we have sportswear. Well, I don't really want the sportswear underneath there. I'm going to put a team's name. So in my sequence view, I can scroll down till I see the word sportswear. You can tell that it's different from the other letters. So all we have to do is select it. And then you can press delete on your keyboard, or you can right mouse click on it and choose delete, whichever flavor suits you. Now, I want to customize it for myself. So let's say this team is the Ravens. I'm going to come and grab my text tool and click my normal text tool. Let's put Ravens above it. Oops, it helps if you can spell. And then I'm going to apply it. Right now I have the Printery Applique font selected. That's not what I want. So let's go see if we can't find a two-color sports font. Those will be all the way at the top. The two-color ones are at the top. So if we want like two-color team medium size, let's try that one. And we'll apply that guy. Well, do y'all notice something that happened there? All I have is the R. Wonder why that happened? Well, that's easy enough to tell you. If you look at this font, it shows you that there are only uppercase letters, numbers, and some symbols available for it. So I need to change that to all caps and click apply. Then we can do it. And it will give us what we want. So it should have two colors in that one, but it's given me all of the same color. So let me, why is my properties window hanging out there? I'm having technical difficulties here, so I don't know what I clicked there, but here we go. So it's given me both in the same color, not really sure why. Maybe because I did it the the text after I added the design. So I changed that to white. I'm going to reverse those. I'm going to change that one to blue and the first one to white, the inner one to white. There we go. So now we have our two colors. And if that's not the font that you like, if you'd rather try one of the other two color ones, let's say we choose Two Color Sports, that one's a little bit more bold and might match this text a little bit better. So we're going to let it apply itself, and it reversed my colors. So I'm going to flip those colors one more time, switch to that one to blue, and we are going to come in and switch this one to white. So there, I'm happy with that one. If you want it to arc like the basketball does, let's go over here to our envelope text. When you select envelope text, it has different shapes that you can select. I am going to choose the arc. So let's see here, that one right there, convex top, concave bottom. So that pops the top up and the bottom down. Does that make sense so far, guys? Let's give my, yeah, so it's giving me a little bit of that. I'm going to come and grab my text tool again so I can adjust how much of that, how much arc it gives me. The little red circles or pink circles, red circles, however you want to call them, those are the adjustment ones for the arc part of this design. And I think I got a little bit excited there, so I'm going to take it down just a hair. And there we go. All right, so now let's align those two guys the way we want them. I'm going to click my select tool and I'm going to move this guy down a little bit. This will tell me if I'm still too arced or not. Actually, it may be a little bit too arced, but I'm going to leave it alone. If we want to go back, we can click on the text tool and we can drop that arc just a hair. Y'all can tell I'm a little bit of a perfectionist there. It was driving me nuts. Yes, Cindy, I will show you where I got the envelope text again. Over in your properties window, there's the word envelope and then select. When you click the select button, it will give you those options. Okay, so now let's select everything. You can draw around it all. You can go to the select tool down arrow and choose select all. Control A on your keyboard or all items in your sequence view window. Any one of those will select everything on your screen. So I'm going for a drew around it. Go to my arrange tab and let's choose horizontal center so we can center that on our screen. Now, I'm going to group this so that I don't mess that part up. That way we're ready to go. We can now put in the names of our team. So we have to put one person in first. I'm going to choose the normal text tool and I'm going to pop this one in. Let's say we choose Andy. Oops, I was in cap locks, wasn't I? And I'm going to choose a different font this time. Let's see here. I'm going to choose something that's kind of a blocked one. Let's choose blocks. And we should get Andy. There we go. Let's change it to blue to match the theme here. And I'm going to put it underneath there. If you want to try out some other fonts, you can come and click the down arrow and use the arrow keys on your keyboard to scroll through those fonts and see if there's something that you like better. Actually, I think I like boldface block better, but it is an all cap font. So let's try something else. Whenever you see that, when those letters disappear, that means it's an all cap font. Daily is probably the one I want to use, I think, for this particular activity. So let's scroll down to it. I think it will give us our best match of the styles that we have going on there. Okay, so let's align this one. We would draw around everything or select all those ways that I told you a minute ago. Go to your Arrange tab, horizontal center. Now we are ready to set it up for name drops for the entire team. You could also go in there and put in their number beside it if you want to. It's just a way to basically play with it. You know, this gives you a way to set up a template one time and save it out for many, many people. So if we come in, let's click off everything and just click on our names. Oh, I know what I need to do. So since I have multiple lines of text, I want to make sure I have my recipe set up the way I want it. So let's right mouse click and let's tell it we are going on towels, just to give it some extra oomph. And then we are going to grab those first two sections and we're going to tell it, I know I have multiple lines of text here and that is going to mess up my name drops. So I want to get everything right before I start, which means my recipe needs to be set. And then I can come in and I can right mouse click and choose preserve as stitches. That turns that text frame that's on the top out of a text frame and makes it a design at this point. Okay. Now I can touch my name drops. Notice now I don't have two lines of text. I have a design and then I have text. So I didn't select Andy in there. When I hit name drops, you'll notice the Ravens basketball is set. When I touch Andy, I can touch the preview button and Andy should preview underneath there. If I want to add a name in, I'm going to press the add button and I would type in the name. So let's say it's Charlie. I should have told you all to put in the longest name first so that you make sure that your spacing would be okay, but I forgot to do that. That's normally what I do. Let's say Mike. You just keep adding the names. Harry. And okay, so here I actually hit add twice on Harry's name. So if I make a mistake like that and I want to click back on it, I can just double tap it and it will bring that up for me to edit again. And let's see, who would this be? Ken. That'll work. So now if we come in and we touch preview on each line, you can see that it will have it for each person's name. I have to be patient and let it respond. And you've basically got it set up now. So let's tell it where we want it to go. I'm going to select my folder and let's just say we want to put it let's make a new folder. I'm going to go to my C drive and I'm going to make a new folder and we'll say Facebook Live. Then I can select that folder. You need to make sure you select that folder. Click OK. And let's call this basketball. And we will now hit save. You can tell it to open all of the files, open the first file, or don't open the files. The other thing that you can choose is what format would you like for those to be saved in. This is a time saver. If you wanted to save in the BRF, which is the native format of this software, and your embroidery format, you can select them both at the same time. If you have multiple machines and you want to set it up, send it to multiple different formats at the same time, you can also select those down through here as well. I'm going to save it as a BRF and as a PES file. Okay. So we'll say OK, and we will press save. And it's going to go through and it's going to save all of my designs. If I had had it open all of the files, we would have had tabs going across it. So let me go ahead and say open all of the files and save it again. It's going to ask me if I want to replace all of these, and I'm going to say yes to every one of them because I forgot to have it open. I wanted you all to see them open and I forgot to hit that little button. Normally I would just have it saved to the folder and not worry about it because I don't want them all sitting on my screen, but I do want you all to be able to save it, see it. So once it's done, that little circling icon will stop. Once that circled icon stops, you can press close and we'll close this window out. We're going to give it a chance to do some stuff. So while it's doing that, I'm going to come back over and let's answer some questions here. Okay, so let me scroll back up to the top over here, guys, and see what we've got. Hi, Mary. Hi, Karen. I'm glad to get to see you all live today as well. Sue from Seattle. Terry, thank you. My dad is doing okay. He's hanging. Faye, good to see you here. Thanks. Um, so Cindy says, hi from Michigan. I don't know where Gladden, Michigan is, but I did used to live in Michigan for a little while. Heidi's here. So good to see you, Heidi. Jan, envelope text. Why is it called envelope text? Because it kind of makes it in its own little envelope. In P Design, it's called transform text. So it just depends. That's just the way this software got named. It gives you different options that you can choose from. And Cindy, I did show you where I got the envelope curve from again. I've already shown that, so I don't need to answer that one again. So we've got Charlene from Ohio. Great. And it is sunny in Ohio today. We're kind of icky here today. It's on and off showers. I'm kind of missing my Florida weather, I will say. That was the best thing about being in Florida is it was not rainy down there. And it has been rainy since I've been back home. Hi, Jane. Good to see you. Hi, Pat. Good to see you here as well. Stacy, there is a lot in this software program, but I encourage you to go touch the buttons and play with it. When you touch the buttons and play with it, things will become much more intuitive to you. Vero Beach, Florida. Hi, Susan. Welcome. All right. Cindy, is there a way to make the pop-up command box bigger in the software? That actually would be a Windows setting for you. If you go in and change your zoom settings in your Windows, it will actually make your pop-ups and your icons bigger. I have mine set at 100% instead of 125, so you may like yours bigger. I like mine smaller so that I can actually get everything in a screenshot. So that's my personal preference. That's up to you. Let's see here. Hi, Susan. Glad you can make it. Cheryl, good to see Cherry. Sorry, I call you Cheryl every time, Cherry. Sorry, just where I'm seeing that. Glad to see you here. Good to hear from you, Charlene. So let's see here. Karen, can I import an Excel folder? No, I cannot in the software. In PE Design 11, using their name drop function, yes. In BES4, no, you cannot. You have to type them in one at a time. What you could do is you could have a list in that Excel file, and you could copy and paste those names into this, but you would still have to do them one at a time. You can't import the whole document. Hi from Indiana. Good to see you here, Brenda. Let me see. What else have I got in here? Glad you're enjoying the tutorial, Sue. Good to see you. We have Jennifer from California. We have a lot of people in here today. Good to see you all. All right, so the software has processed. I am ready to go. So let's see here. Lois has a question for me here. If I were to make each line a different color and I apply those colors, when I send it to my machine, is the embroidery going to stop after each color like a program would? Yes. Anytime you change a color, it makes the machine stop. It's telling the machine that you are changing threads. So unless it's a multi-needle machine, it will stop. The multi-needle will just switch to the next color. So you need to know which machine you're doing. But yes, it will actually stop for you. Anytime you change color, that creates a stop on your machine. Great to see you here from Mary Lee from California. Hi, Lisa from Youngstown, New York. And Patricia, I'm sorry you had a hard time finding us. If you go to my Facebook page, you will be reminded of when these go on. And if you comment on my Facebook page versus Brother's Facebook page, you will actually, you'll be interacting with me during the live show. On their page, I don't actually get to interact with you. So I truly don't know how many people are out there asking questions over there or can't find me. We try. It just, sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. So know that always you'll get a reminder if you are on my Facebook page. Oh, y'all are getting to see my screen here telling me it wants me to know if it can show me my emails. So let's see here. Ravens basketball, Charlie. I'm going to close this window. And you'll notice that across here, I have all of these tabs. Those tabs are the different designs that it created for me in the BRF format. So as you tap them, here's basketball 01 BRF. So that's the native format, which would allow me to change things about it. The PES file of the Andy is the file created that is embroidery ready for your machine. Okay, So my O2 file here is Charlie, and then O3 is the Charlie PES file. O4 is going to be Mike, and then if you go to this down arrow, you will see more files. O5 would be Mike in the PES format. So you'll notice you have PES and BERFs. So they're all there. And now if you had Power Pack, I believe it is 1, you could go up here to the Paste Setter button, and you could choose Machine, Batch, Send to Machine. So if you've got your Wi-Fi set up, I do not have a machine on today to show you guys this. But if you had your machine set up, you can say Batch, Send to Machine. You would go find those files, which, where did I put that? I put FB Live, right? So let's go to my PC, grab my C drive, and go my FB Live folder here. And then I could grab all of those files and press send. It's going to ask me where I want to send it. So I would choose a drive, one of my flash drives. Let's say I wanted to go my 10 needle. It's going to tell me it can't communicate with it, so I'm not going to have it start, but that's how you actually do that. You choose it and then you press start. It's going to tell me it can't communicate because I don't have that machine turned on. So the server address could not be resolved. That I forgot to turn on the machine. So that's how that works. I think it's kind of a cool little trick. Sorry about not hiding that comment there, guys. Let's see here. Tammy, let me turn me back on. If I save the design in a single needle design setting, can you use that same design on a multi-needle machine, or do you have to resave the design for a multi-needle machine? Yes, you can use the same design on a multi-needle as you do on a single needle. You just need to rearrange your colors on your machine. Does Batch Send to Machine work with flatbed machines with a card? Yes, it does. So Terry, if you have multiple cards set up, like if I have mine on, if I have my card, my SD card in my Luminaire, or I have it in my Dream Machine, I can send directly to that. Those are all there. They'll be on that card. You would push the pocket, and then you would retrieve it from the SD card. So it's a relatively easy, guys, to use. And it's really a nice little feature. Being able to send more than one at a time is really a nice little feature. And then they're all sitting there waiting for you set up so that you don't have to go back and forth between the computer and the machine, or save them one at a time. So it's kind of a nice little trick. Hi, Mary. Good to see you in here. So let's talk about the other thing that I said I would talk about today, which was, yes, the air card works with the Solaris as well. It's the same as a Luminaire for the most part. There's a few things on the Dream that's not, excuse me, on the Luminaire that's not on the Solaris, but for essentially, besides designs, they generally have the same operating features. Cindy has only one machine to send to, but I have a dickens of a time finding on my machine. B pocket then within a folder or in the ABC order or order date. Okay, so if you, Cindy, tell me which machine you're on, first of all, but it will be, you touch the drive on your machine. So on the Luminaire, you have to touch the pocket first to retrieve. Then you touch the SD card, and then you would touch B pocket. So BES saves into a B pocket. All right. If you send it directly, if you save it directly to a USB flash drive, it will not be within the B pocket. So on the Dream Machine, you would touch the SD card, Cindy, and then you would say B pocket, and you would see the designs in that B pocket. Does that make sense to you? Hi, Karina. Good to see you. And so, you know, it just is a matter of where you are. And if you get stuck with that, y'all, feel free to send me an email. I answer emails all the time. I'm faster with email than instant messenger. But if you instant message me, I will answer those questions as well. If I'm not here at my house, sometimes physically walking you through it on a specific machine may be challenging, but I can pretty much look it up in a manual and tell you where it's going to be. So if it's not in front of me, I can look to see where it might be. Hi, Heather from Canada. Good to see you here. All right, so let's go back to the software and let's talk a little bit about appliques because I've been seeing that question pop up all week long. I know I've covered it before, but let's talk about appliques, FCMs, and SVG files. And let's hit that one more time, and this will reside on my Facebook page forever, so you can always come back and check it out. All right, let's go back over to the software. And let me actually tell you, I'm going back over to the software here. There we go. Okay, so let me close out a few screens here. Maybe. All right, I give up on that. It's taking too long. Let's just hit a new screen. All right, so there are different ways that you can do applique files. You can bring in designs from other designers that you have purchased. Those are not built-in designs. You can bring in designs that are applique designs on the machine itself. And you can use text that is built for applique in the software itself. So let's start with text in the software. If I click on my normal text tool and I click on the design page to activate the tool, then let's type in our text. I'm just going to do ABC today because I'm not feeling very creative. Okay. There's my text. When I go to my font pull down menu, anything with an O has different fonts. It has different styles that you can use. They're called outline fonts. So there's different options that you'll find. I tend to refer to them myself as optional fonts because they have options, but they are technically called outline fonts. So if I go to one with an O in front of it, I can then go to the style down here where it says standard, and I can choose the type that I want. Applique is what we want, so we're going to touch applique and then we're going to touch apply. It automatically generates that file for me as an applique. Now, if I want to send this to my scan and cut machine, since it has been created in BES4, I do not have to do anything special to the file. It already knows what it needs to do, but we do have to tell it, we have to go to our Tools tab. We have to tell it to generate artwork for us. So to generate the artwork, we are going to press the Scan and Cut button on our Tools tab here. The circle, triangle, and square. When we touch that button, it will automatically pop it in there, and that file is ready to go to your Scan and Cut machine. To export that file as an FCM, you press the Export FCM file. That is the format for the Brothers Scan and Cut machine. Export FCM. Okay. Then you can choose to save it to a drive. So you would choose your PC, have a USB flash drive in your machine, in your computer, and save that file there. If you have Power Pack 1, you can go up to the Paste Setter button, choose Scan and Cut Machine, Send to Scan and Cut Machine. You don't need to name it. It's not going to land anywhere. If you've not signed into your Scan and Cut Canvas account, it will prompt you to do that. So you need to remember those passwords, gang. It's not going to save it there. It's just using that as a pass-through method. You touch OK. And when you go to your Scan and Cut, you will see that file. When you go to retrieve, you would choose retrieve and then the little cloud, the little computer with the wireless icon on it. That's retrieve from the cloud. If your Scan and Cut is not wireless, you would export the FCM. If you happen to have a different cutting machine besides a Brother cutting machine, most of the softwares out there that go with different cutting machines will read an SVG file, Scalable Vector Graphic. You go up to your Paste Setter button, which is the little B up at the top. You choose Export, and then you choose Export SVG. When you do that, you can save it to your thumb drive or you can save it to your computer, and then you would run it through their software program. That's how that works. And so that's with built-in text, okay? Let me go back over to my screen over here and let's see if we have any questions. Okay, any questions on Applique with lettering that's built into the software? And that would work with the fonts that say Applique, Printery Applique, and the optional, the outline fonts that have the O in front of them. Some of them have Applique as an option, so that would work to cut those out. So Faye has a question for me that's not about Applique, but let's see here. When I use Design Center to create a design, it goes into the B pocket. Is there a way to view this in PE Design 11, or are these considered two different programs? Faye, you can use it. You can use what you create in Design Center in PE Design 11. You would import that file. It's a PHX file, so it would need to be imported. Go to your Import tab on the right side of your screen and choose from wherever you saved it, okay? And then you can bring it in. If you would want to save that instead of to your machine's B pocket, you would save it to a USB thumb drive, or you could save it to the BES4 SD card. Now, what I will tell you is if you are on a Luminaire, it saves it as a PHX. BES does not read a PHX file. So the only one that does is PE Design 11, okay? Only one of the brother programs that does is PE Design 11. All right. Hi from Cordova, Illinois. I'm sorry you had troubles finding us today. As I was telling them, if you'll just follow me on my Facebook page, you'll be notified of when I'm going, and then you can say notify me or get a reminder, and you'll get a reminder when it's coming, and you'll be able to interact with us here on the page. All right. So Heidi, you wondered what that O was? Well, now you know, huh? It's great. So what software is I'm using? I actually use multiple pieces of software, but today we are using the BES4 software. I have all three power packs activated, so I've got some more tools than you might see on the basic BES4 software. Let's see here. Any other questions? Hi, Cindy. Good to see you. Boy, my name is a popular name today. That's about the fourth Cindy that we've had join us today. That's good. We must have all been born around the same time. All right, so let's go back and let's talk about appliques that you bring that are built into the software. They work basically the same way that we just did, but we'll go back and do those. So I'm going to flip over to the software, and let's just delete this tab. I do have to get back onto my computer screen. All right, so I'm going to delete that text, and we're going to go back to our Home tab. And let me turn off those comments so you guys can see. All right, Add Design. We are now going to choose our applique designs. So if we could choose applique shapes, these are the built-in applique designs that are in your BES4 software. And if y'all ever wondered what that little guy right there is, it's the rabbit. It's the rabbit applique that you see on older quilts. So yes, it's there, but it took me forever to figure out what it was, and it does come in that orientation. So I'll show you how to change that. If you bring it in, you'll notice that it's just like that. If you draw upward, it will pop up as a rabbit, and you can actually see that it's a rabbit. So yay. If you didn't want the rabbit, you can just undo. We can go back in and add design, and let's see, what do we want to put in today? How about we do the cupcake? I'm going to left click on the cupcake. For some reason, I'm feeling in a cupcakey mood. If I clicked again, just so you know, it would bring another cupcake up. So until I switch tools, I'm still adding cupcakes. And each time I left click, I get another cupcake. So just keep that in mind when you left click. Left clicking puts it in at the size that it's created. Left click and drag lets you put it in whatever size that you want. Keep in mind that you may get it too big or you may get it too small for what you want it to sew, for how you want it to sew. It may not embroider as well. Okay. So now I'm going to click off of everything. I've got my select tool selected, and we're going to go to our tools tab. And let's go to our scan and cut button. The same way, that little scan and cut button right there. touch that button and it will generate the artwork for the two pieces of the cupcake. So you have them both right there. One thing I want you to make sure that is done is that the shapes are closed. So if I don't look at these in fill view, so notice how it filled that color. If we want to see it without fill, you'll notice that that is an open area where that cherry was on top, right? And the Scan and Cut would cut those lines. Let me change the color so you can see that a little bit better. The Scan and Cut would cut just what is there in black, okay? So if I wanted to close that shape to be able to close it, and so that it would close that area and cut all the way around it, I would choose Close Shape to be able to get it to where it cut completely around, all right? Let's look at the bottom shape as well. So I usually tell you guys to look at the ones that are built in and see if they are closed. If they are not, all you have to do is hit that Close Shape button and it will take care of it for you, all right? So now those files are ready to go to the Scan and Cut. You can touch Export FCM and basically save it to your USB flash drive, or you can go and export it up here, or you can send it directly to your Scan and Cut machine. So whichever way you want it. Basically, we had to generate the artwork. Okay, so let me come back over and answer some questions again. All right, Karina, you don't have rabbits like that in Norway? I don't know why. It was like on its head, right? It's kind of weird. Yes, Karen, I covered this in the workbook. How to do the Scan and Cut stuff is all in the workbook. Tons of information on that because it's, there's a lot of, it covers Power Pack 1 and that covers that sending wirelessly. Glad you are enjoying the workbook, Karen. That makes me happy. I love them. I love those comments. So glad to see you from Atlanta. What is your first name, Ellie? All right, so Cindy has a question. So Emily made used her Scan and Cut on her apron yesterday. So cool. Glad that this kind of tied in there with that. I wasn't sure we were going to get to do a live show this week. If I was still in Florida, I don't think we would be having one because the internet there was so bad and things were crazy, especially with my brother there. It got nuts. So good to see you, Susan. Let's see here. Cherry, you're most welcome for that reminder about the Close Shape button. That is one of the things that I have to remind myself of. Make sure that shape is closed. Otherwise, you'll wonder, why didn't it cut that part? Because it looked like it was a solid, but it wasn't really a solid. Yes, you may, BES2, no. BES2 does not have the Create Applique function on it. BES3 gave us somewhat of that capability, if I recall correctly. But BES4 is really when it came to life. Jan, I am going to put up a coupon code today for you guys. Let me see here if I can plop them both in. So this one is the one for my lettering workbook, and you'll be able to find that. It's LET4. I made it easy for you this week. And you will find that on my website. It's called Lettering So Easy for BES4. This is my website. If you wanted the version 10 workbook for PE Design 11, that one is DIG 10, Digitizing 10, basically, DIG 10. So those are the coupon codes for this week. I remember to do it in advance. Aren't you all proud of me? That doesn't happen very often, just so we're clear on that. Usually I'm flying by the seat of my pants. Today I actually remembered that. Actually, somebody reminded me, said, so the last week's coupons have expired, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, I need to create some new ones today. Let's see here. If they are filled with color, do you still have to close the shape? Remember that cupcake top was filled with color. So when I turned off the fill and it had that opening, that told me I needed to close the shape. So I would suggest to you, if you're using one of the built-in ones, to make sure that you turn off the fill and click in the properties window and click apply. And then you can close the shape. So the 3M350, yes, basically it sends a FCM file. It will not go, depends on if you've, It won't go wirelessly to your 350 unless you have gotten that upgrade for the 350. But it sends the same FCM file regardless of which scan and cut you've got. So it works from the CM100s all the way up, which is great. Oh, Lena, thank you. I'll remember that. That's a great name. I can tell if it's closed sometimes. If you notice, let's go back to my software and let's look and see, so we can kind of get an idea. If we go back to that embroidery design, I do have to get on my screen over here. If I go back to the original embroidery design, I need to find it first. Untitled 2. All right, you notice how that cherry is right there in the opening. So that gives you a big clue. And then if you look over here in your sequence view window, you can see that there is kind of a gap right there. That's giving you the other clue. But really the easiest way to do it is when you hit the scan and cut button to select that area and then take that check mark off of the to turn off the fills so that you can see if those are open or not. And if they're open, that's when you know you have a problem. All you have to do is press the close shape button, but that's really what you need to make sure that you do, okay? Let's see here. Let me go back over to that other screen. And let's answer some questions again. So, Lena, you are a high school teacher. So you hide your students. That's a good idea. You're basically being incognito so they don't know you. And you've got an avatar. I've seen lots of y'all have been playing with avatars this week. So yes, yay coupons. Somebody asked me what the coupon code was again. So Lisa, let me put that coupon code across there again. I'll leave that up for you all for a minute. Okay. You missed. Where did the cherry go? No, the cherry is not an applique. That cherry is an embroidery, is basically just a solid embroidery. So it's not an applique that would be cut out. You could make it, but it's not an applique that would be cut out. How can you get that cherry shape? So if you want the cherry shape, give me a second. Let me ponder that one, Karen, and see if I can't think on that one. Will I do a live on making a patch? My daughter-in-law is wanting me to make a patch for their motorcycle club. Pretty please. Well, yes, I can do that for you. That's something we can do. And I'll see, we may be able to do that at the end of this one with something else. So give me just a second. That would be, you really probably want to have the first power pack for that. It would make it easiest, but you don't have to. So there's a couple of ways we could do that. All right, so I'm going to go back to software for just a moment. And I said I'd leave that, there it is. There's the coupon code. I'll leave that up for just a second. And let me go back to the software. So let's talk about if we bring in an applique from somebody else, something that you have purchased out there along your way. So let me delete all of this and go back to here. Let's just go File and go to the Paste Setter button and let's choose Merge. So I'm going to hunt for one. Go to my PC, and I am betting I have one somewhere on this computer. I won't swear to it, but I'm betting I do. So let's go to Commercial Embroidery Designs and see what I've got in here. Oh, I know that these Applique Corner had these. So these are hippo hearts. They're kind of cute, I thought. Let's pick one up. Let's do, and you'll notice ART files are in here. So we do read Bernina files. We do not save out as a Bernina file, but we do read them just for your information for future. So let's say we want to go with Hippo Hearts ART. Okay. So what do I do differently for this one? If I touch my scan and cut button, nothing's going to generate, because nothing has been color coded for me. So that doesn't work too well, right? Let me go back to, I got to find the right file. I've got too many files open here, gang. There we go. So what I have to do is I have to tell it which piece I want it to cut. So to do that, I have to color code it. All right. So in your sequence view window over here, what you do, the first thing you do is make sure you have Brother Embroidery or Brother Enhanced as your thread chart. I use Brother Embroidery because it makes it easier to find the color that we actually need. There's only one scroll that I have to do. Okay. Why did I hit merge? Because I didn't want to open another file. I didn't want another screen up on Karen. So that gave me the way to just open it up, bring it onto what I had instead of having another screen. So here's my design. I've got my Brother Embroidery thread palette, and I'm going to choose this first one because that's what I wanted to cut. Usually you have to scroll to the end of the thread palette. Mine actually, that color must be right here on the thread palette, so it didn't make me scroll. This button, this thread tile right here, see where it says Brother Embroidery Applique Material. Anything that I want it to cut, I need to color code Brother Applique Material. Okay. If I come down to the feet, so there are my feet, right? I'm going to do the same thing for it. I've touched it. I'm going to scroll to the end of the color palette, and I'm going to touch Brother Embroidery Applique Material. And now I've color coded those two sections. Okay. So now when I go to my Tools tab and I touch the Scan and Cut button, I will actually have two segments that are cut ready. Isn't that awesome? So now that's how you can actually do that. The other reason I hit merge was so that I didn't actually accidentally save over something else. So let me come back and answer some questions here. What do we got going on? So let's see here. Is that color 100? Hold on and I'll see. If we go to the search button before I go on, let's see, color 100. Yes, that is color 100. So if you're not sure, color 100 is applique material. You know, I'd never noticed that, but yes, that is color 100. Good question there, Jan. So let me come back over here and let's answer some questions. Where's my screen? There we go. Okay. Am I on here daily? No, I am not. I'm on here Tuesdays at 3:30 Central or 4:30 Eastern time. Don't ask me to do the math for any others. Those are the two that I have to keep up with because I go by brother time and by Cindy time. So Cindy time is 3:30, brother time is 4:30. Unless I'm in Florida. If I'm in Florida, then I'm on 4:30 time. So, all right. So color 100 is your applique material. Glad that Mike taught you something I didn't know. Actually, it's not that I didn't know. It never occurred to me to think about it as a color number. So, hi from Missouri. Good you could join us. All right. So that we've talked about how do you do text that's applique. And Sue says 1:30 West Coast. Great. How do you do text as applique? We talked about how you use the built-in designs as applique. We talked about optional fonts, and we talked about, outline fonts, and we talked about applique fonts. And we talked about bringing in a design from someplace else. So let's see about making our own here for a minute. And that would be from an FCM file. So let's come back over to my computer. I know I've done this before for you guys, but I'm going to do it again just to kind of give us a little bit of a refresher so that you guys are with me on that. I'm going to close out a few windows because we have a ton open before I flip back over. I'd love to just close my software down, but I don't want to do that. It'd take us too long to get back up. So, Karen, I'll think about that cherry here in just a minute. We could do it, but you'd have to probably draw around it yourself. But there may be other ways. Come on. All right, I cry uncle. So let me come back over to my screen and let you all see. So, yes, the fish need to come from the front of back to the front of the tank. That is my phrase. Actually, I got that from Lana Bennett many, many years ago. I am going to turn off that banner, guys, so that you guys can see everything. And let me come back and go back to sharing my screen here. All right. So we're going to go up to the page setter button, and I'm just going to hit new page here. And let's go to the page setter button and choose import and then import artwork. If you are in the base level, it will say import FCM only. Since I have all 3 power packs activated, mine says import artwork. Once I do that, I can go find an FCM file. And let's see here, what have we got? Let's say we want Halloween masks. Yeah, let's go ahead and do the Halloween mask. By the way, that file this file right here is from Canvas Workspace. You will see this on your Canvas Workspace in the free projects area. Okay. Now, to create the applique, it's so hard. I don't think you all can get it. It's just going to make you break out in a sweat. You ready? Convert to applique. So all we have to do is hit the convert to applique button, and bam, you have it ready to go. If it does any funky stuff, you can always edit the shape of the area that you want to. So let's say you wanted to fix this little part right here. You can come and click the edit shape tool, adjust that shape, right mouse click, and play futz with it. Or you can add in a point sometimes, and that will take care of it. When you right mouse click, there you go. Then you would touch the scan and cut button to send it out, send the shape out at the same size as your actual embroidery. So I mean, you could probably do it the other way, but this is a way to ensure that your applique is going to match the size of your embroidery. Okay. So let me come back and see what our colors say here. So let's see here. Sorry, Heidi, I just can't do it every day. Yeah, the fish definitely need to come to the front of the tank sometimes. Oh, my fish brings back memories. Yes, this can be watched later. It will be live on my page after we are finished with the live show, so it will be living there. So, all right. Let me think. Is there anything else? Oh, I said I would show you a patch. So I'll show you that really quick. That will be the last thing. So Rupa, the entire video will be on Cynthia's Embroidery Facebook page. It's at Cynthia's Embroidery 1, and it will live there. Should also be on the Brother Sews Facebook page. But if you want me to respond, please watch it on my page. If you want to share it to your own so you can have access to it over and over and over and don't have to go find it on mine, you can share it to your page, and that way you'll have it. But if you comment, please comment on my page so that I can respond to you, okay? All right, so let's talk about a patch. That's the last thing we're going to hit, and we should be able to do it, okay? Let me take off this comment, and I'll come back and answer questions at the end if there's more. So be thinking of them, and I'll answer them after we're done. Let me switch over to software. I know it looks funny when I do that, but I'm dodging my camera so that I can see it. And let me come back over to my screen. Let's get rid of this tab, and let's get rid of this tab. And I don't want to save it. I don't want to save that one. Okay, here we go. I've got a clean sheet of paper. Let's just assume I brought in a design from someplace else, but I'm actually going to add a design here from our designs category. Because we'll say that we wanted to make a patch out of this baseball player. Okay. If I have Power Pack 1, this is pretty simple. Okay. If I don't, then I have to do some work. Power Pack 1, go to your Tools tab and touch Nap Control. Tell it how far away from the pattern you want your design to begin, and let's say we wanted it 4 millimeters away. I do millimeters because I'm used to it. If inches works better for you, that's fine as well. I'm going to touch Add a Finishing Run, and we're going to touch OK. And it's going to generate me an outline around that design, okay? What I would then do is come up here to where it made that Nap Control fill, and I would touch the fill part of that and press Delete to get rid of it. Now I have an outline. I can take that outline and convert it to an applique, and voila, you have a patch. Basically take that applique, run it to the end, and that would be the last thing to sew. Okay, do I need to go over that one more time, or was that clear as mud, as we say in the South? I'll try. Since nobody answered, I'll do it one more time for you. Bring in your design, go to your tools tab, and touch nap control. Nap control is just one of the most awesome things they ever added for us because we can do so much with it. So we're going to choose how far away from the original design we want it to start. If I want it to start further away, I will touch 6 and then I will touch OK. I add the finishing run. That makes it really simple. Touch OK. This time it's going to be a little bit further spaced away. All right. Now I'm going to expand that color segment where the nap control is placed. It always places it up to the front. We're going to press delete to get rid of the fill. We are going to touch the design itself, that outline that was generated, and touch convert to applique. And it is now converted. Okay. So if you didn't want this little space right here, there is another way that we could have done this. So if you don't want that space, this is what I would personally do. I'd come in here and I would grab my line drawing tool on my tools tab, close my shape. Now when I select it all, let's convert that piece to an applique just for now. Okay. So then you can select everything, touch the nap control button, choose how far away from your original design you want it. Make sure you add that finishing run to make life easier, and touch OK. So now see how it encompassed that little design that I added in there? You can grab that little shape, which is going to be down here at the bottom, and you could then delete it. And then you can go back up to the top, delete the nap, and now the run is selected, and convert it to applique. Okay. All right, let me come answer questions here for just a second. Let's go over to you guys. So let's see here. So you did get the last step, Cindy, now that I did that. Sorry, Lee, that you were watching on Brother Sews. Sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on if they can grab my live when I start. So if you follow my page, you will always get notifications. You can, when I post it, you can say get a reminder. Lois says, now she understands how nap control would work for a patch. You didn't get that. The fill could be snatched out of there. You know, yeah, that is, you can just delete that fill part of it and then generate that outline into an applique. You do not have to add the satin stitch around the outline because it automatically does that for you once you touch the applique button. So it converts it for you automatically, Cindy. Oh yes, the cork key fobs. That was another use for nap control. It has some unexpected uses, and if you go to the Brother Sews blog, blog.brother.com, I believe it is. I'll post. I've got a banner that says it. Let's see here, banner. blog.brothersews.com. There is one also using the nap control to do embossed lettering, and that's a really easy one to use as well. I think you all would enjoy that use of nap control. It was an unintended consequences of something that we added in, which made life a little easier. Let's see here, what else we got. Glad you all are enjoying it. Can I adjust the satin stitch width or length? Yes, just like you can with all of the others. So let me come back with any other applique. Is over in your properties window, you see that stitch width? If I want that to change, I come and highlight stitch width, type in how wide I want it to be, and then click apply, and it automatically adjusts that for me. Okay, so that is the automatic way. Somebody over here is asking now, yes, you could do this without an upgrade. Okay, so it's going to take you a little bit more time, or you're not going to get as precise around it. It doesn't matter either way. So let me show you how you can do it without a power pack. All right, let me take off the banner as well here and come back over to the software screen. We ready? All right, I'm going to delete our applique. Remember, make sure that you send that before I delete that. Make sure you send this to the end. So if you move it to last, it will automatically sew that patch part last. Okay. So now let's delete this, and let's say we're going to do this guy a different way. You could use a built-in shape. So if you go into your add on the home tab, add designs, applique shapes. You could come in and add a circle, an oval, any of the built-in shapes, a square, rectangle. Let's say we want to do this rectangle right here. You can come take him, adjust the size the way you want it to be, and you now have a patch. Okay, I personally would make sure that I have it aligned up. So I would go select it all, go to my arrange tab, horizontal center and vertical center. Okay, so that's one way. The other way takes a little bit more time, but it's still very doable. You can go to your tools tab. Without power packs, you have the line drawing tool, and it will just say line. Okay, and that lets you click around your design. So if you start clicking where you want to put the line, basically turn it into an applique. If you want to have a curve, you hold the control key down on your keyboard, and that lets you curve things. And this can be like watching paint dry. I understand while I'm drawing here on a computer screen. I'm trying to go fast for you guys so you don't have to sit bored. But I'm left clicking around this design. Power pack, you have the convert to applique button. You just touch convert to applique and you now have a patch. Okay, so let me go back up here and let's answer some questions before we finish off the day. Let me find my cursor. There we go. Okay, so let's see what we've got comment wise. My Facebook is called Cynthia's Embroidery. Yes. At Cynthia's Embroidery 1, and it should have a picture of me with a pink shirt on. Okay, blonde hair and a pink shirt is me. That's the one you want to go to, and it would be Cynthia's Embroidery. So, Brenda, glad you enjoyed that. Oh, I didn't use it once. You're correct. I don't tend to use my center button until I'm ready to center things out, because basically there's a trick, and I'll show you the trick. Okay. I'll show you a really quick, easy trick that you guys will like. It's not hard, but usually I will actually have a hoop on my screen, and you'll notice I have not put a hoop on my screen. Let me go to my home tab, and we'll put a hoop on my screen. When I touch the hoop, depending on, let's say we want to select the 150 by 150, the 6 by 6 inch hoop. When I put that hoop on, it actually centers that. Okay, if I turn it off, it doesn't matter. But let me move this design over here out of the way. Oops, undo. Let's grab the whole kit and caboodle and draw it. Drag it over there. Let me group it so I don't mess it up. Take and drag that out of the way. Now, when I touch the hoop button, it automatically puts it in the center. Okay, so that's a little trick out there that you can do to easily put your design in the center. Even if you have it in the hoop, let's say I have it in the hoop already. If I turn that hoop off and I turn it back on, it will automatically be back in the center of that hoop. Okay, so that's a really easy trick to center something in your hoop. I center items together, but it's rare that I hit the center button unless I'm just kind of really trying to show you how that center button works. I also, without a hoop, let's say I'm zoomed in or I've got this out of my screen over here way away. There is a zoom button on this screen right there, and when I touch that button, it brings that design right back to the center of my screen. So those are the two tricks that I use to bring things back to the middle of my screen. That way I'm not playing with my zoom buttons a lot and I don't get stuck in the zoom tool. It basically lets me go in and out. All right. I think I am about done with everything unless there's another question hiding out there for me. Any more questions? So yeah, I mean, there are some little tricky things that you can do in the background, and that's one of the things that I like to share with you is what are the little tips and tricks that we have out there. I'm going to, hi from Tennessee. Sorry you have to watch the replay, but we're about done and you will watch the replay and you can still ask questions and I will still go back in and answer them. Not a problem. Okay, guys. I'm glad you could join me today, even if it's at the last minute. Next week, I will be doing a little bit on quilting with your BES4. So that's where I'm going to hit next week to see what you can do with the BES4 in your quilting. So that will be talking about a lot of the Power Pack 1 features. Okay. Cindy, if you purchase more hoops that are different sizes, how do you tell my machine the size hoop? Your machine should automatically detect it. If you're on a multi-needle machine, you need to, if it's not a hoop that's built into the machine, you need to always, always, always do a trace, especially on your multi-needle machine if it's not a standard hoop. You need to make sure your design is going to fit in there, and if you have to, drop the needle or beam the light or scan it to make sure your design is not going to bump up an edge of a hoop. But that's extremely important. But for the single needle machines, usually if your machine will recognize the hoop, it knows what size hoop is in there. Otherwise, it will make you change to another size hoop. Patty, I'm glad you've enjoyed the show. Thanks, Karen. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it too. Yes, Candy, you'll be able to see the show on my Facebook Live, and you can share it to your own page to keep it forever and ever and ever, but it will live on my Facebook page. If you want to have comments answered, please make sure you paste those comments on my Facebook page on this video, not in your private viewings or whatever you decide to do with it. Just make that way I can actually respond to it. Guys, thanks so much for joining me today, and I will see you next week, and we will have a blast. So have a great week, make something fun, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.